Bow, bow, bow. What's up out there, guys? Welcome to the show. If you'd like to support this channel, there are PayPal and Patreon links in the info box below. Hopefully you guys are hearing me out there. It looks good on this side. I did, however, try to play a little clip, and it wasn't working. So somebody give me a thumbs up out there on YouTube, in chat. Let me know that you're hearing me okay. If you'd be so kind. Nothing. I'll just assume that you guys are hearing me. Right? Anything? Am I stuck here? Ah, Lumpy, thanks, Lumpy. Appreciate that. All right, let's see who we got in Discord. I seen the avatar of the beautiful Betty Van... Did I say Betty? Betty Van Velsen. What's up, James Mays? How are you, sir? Back to Betty Van Velsen, the beautiful Betty Van Velsen. How's it going, Betty?
What did you call me first?
Betty.
Betty?
Not Betty with a B in Bravo. I said Betty with a V, Victor.
Betty?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it just came out wrong because I was thinking of vetted, and it just, you know how that goes. It's one of those days, man.
Reddit?
Wedded?
You're thinking of what?
I was thinking of vetted. V-E-T-T-E-D, vetted.
Why?
I don't know.
Because of the rain outside, I hope?
Not wetted, vetted.
What does that mean exactly?
Vetted, to have something authenticated or verified.
Oh. Okay. Strange thoughts you have.
You don't know the half of it.
Yeah, well, don't want to be in your mind.
Here we go with the backhanded slights right off the bat.
No,
You can't help
there's
yourself.
no backhanded slight in there. It's just that I don't want to be in your head. It's just a statement.
Why don't you want to be in my head?
Because I'm afraid what I'll see there.
Yeah, but yeah. There's no getting out of there once you're in, baby.
Yeah, I was afraid of that.
All right, so let's see what's going on here. Oh, Unitox Femu, you had a couple of super chats during the last show, and I missed them at the end. So shout out to Unitox Femu, and I just took Betty's job, but I had to get the other two. You want to take this one, Betty?
Excuse me?
You want to take this super chat?
Oh, the one that's up now?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. It's from Unitox Family, and he says there's no two choices. There's no medium.
Yeah, it's only one choice.
Well, I think there's a mediator.
Who's the mediator?
God.
Interesting.
He's the intermediate.
He's an intermediate?
He's the intermediate between us and him.
So he's the intermediate.
Between body and soul.
Oh, now, because you can't have an intermediate be on both sides of the equation.
I think that God overrides everything.
Yeah, I have to agree. Okay, you're good.
Phew, I got that one.
You ducked that one just by the skin of your teeth. So it looks like we got everything rolling along here. Like I said, I tried to play that clip and it didn't play.
Why did you do it?
Should I be surprised? There's something going on in the inner workings and OBS and stuff. I don't want to get into
the nitty-gritty.
Into shop talk, but yeah, I still have some issues. I know I have personal issues, but I have issues.
Yes, many of them.
Here we go again. Yeah, I knew.
Let's go with the list.
Yeah. But I got back shop issues, and I'll deal with those as far as you know. So, what else we got? We got a lightning storm.
Ooh.
As soon as I said
is it going to be a problem for the stream? Hopefully not.
Hopefully. Well, we're going to find out.
Yeah, because you guys have these power cables like hanging up in the air, while
That's
we have
correct.
them usually under the ground.
That's correct.
Makes up for more solid connection.
Yeah, that's just how they did it. I don't know why.
You can't dig, right? You guys have no means of digging in the ground.
Well, I think they put up the
Couple of
grid.
numpties over there in America.
Well, I did. Don't call us numpties. I,
I knew there would be a pride thing in this somewhere.
I think the grid was put up many, many years ago in like different sections, and they all did it that way. And I think when it came time to switch, there's just such a vast area, right? So, hello, Sam's Meat Market. You kill him, we'll chill him.
What? What the? Yeah, I got a sort of a new phone, and I sort of put it on, and now it's giving me like a strange sound.
Is it sort of a new phone or a new phone?
What?
Is it sort of a new phone or a new phone?
Yeah, it's sort of a new phone.
Not
I will explain later. It's not for the audience.
Oh, okay. Fair
It's
enough.
interesting for the audience. It won't be interesting for the audience. They need to basically get the sound off, huh? So that's better. Yeah. Oh,
yeah, Mr. Anderson, you stab him, we'll slab him. Sort of the same theme. So, what are we going to do today? I think this is the Aether last call for today. I think I announced that.
Who's saying?
Who's saying that?
Yeah.
I said it.
And therefore it's true?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, because it's the last call. We had the first call. It was the presentation systematically.
Yeah, but who is the authority to make the call?
Me.
Why are you the authority?
Why?
Yeah.
Why am I the authority? Well, I'm the paterfamilias.
The what?
Paterfamilias.
I thought that you were the queen of flat earth.
Negative. Nope, I don't get titled by numpties.
Who said that, by the way? Who was that again?
I think it was Professor Phil a long time ago. I think you laughed for about a week.
Yes, because I saw you in a dressed up already, and like, yeah, cross-dressing. Although it isn't cross-dressing anymore, right? I think it's normal now.
Oh, jeez.
Since we have no women anymore, men can be anything.
Now that's depressing.
You know what's depressive is that men can be better women than women.
Oh, that's a sick statement.
But it seems to be true too. Yeah, was there not a transsexual that sort of won the Woman of the Year award or something?
I don't follow that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that somewhere came up. I don't know.
Follow too much
Maybe
anymore.
I'm wrong.
Yeah, let's keep up with current events. My peep in my bow caused me some
Don't start talking about your peep. Jeez.
You make
next thing you say, you have binoculars to look at your neighbors.
No, listen to you. You're jumbling all the context to try to come out with something coherent. It ain't gonna work.
Oh, I think I sort of got something out there.
Superchat.
Yeah, I saw it. And it's from Godzilla. Breaking news. Space is real. It is finally located between the ears of Professor Phil.
No, that's the void of space. Somebody asked me one day. It was I think it was Timmy Clown. He goes, define vacuum. And I said, the space between your ears.
The only non-natural vacuum on the planet Earth. Although there's no planet, right? So
Yeah. Too funny. What was I gonna? Oh yeah, you interrupted my peep. So you love that. You love when I say peep for some reason. It just cracks you up.
It sort of takes me back to the peep show thing.
Yeah. Always in the gutter, folks. Like I told you.
No, it's because we have that word in Dutch as well, so that makes it sort of a double whammy here.
So let me tell my story.
Yeah, okay.
It's going to be short. I'll be concise. So I've been mucking with my peep. That's the little eyepiece you look through to look at your sight. Look at my bow sight. Don't rumpus this.
I like that because it gets you off the game.
Yeah. So the peep, it's real tiny. It's not real. Don't worry about the size of it. My peep size is my peep size. Anyway.
Oh my God. Jeez.
It kept, sometimes it would rotate on me, right? And I'd be trying to fix it, myself, and I'm not all that bow savvy, so I had other people do it, and it would constantly come loose. That means I'd go out to the range, I'd get ready to shoot, I'd draw back the bow, and my peep would be sometimes really like oblong. I couldn't look out. There's no looking out of it. Or just a little bit off. If it's just a little bit off, then it throws everything else off. So I've been trying to figure out how to secure it properly. So I said, listen, I went up to the bow shop. I said, let me have the vise. I'm going to tie it in. So I tied it in, but when I was tying it in, I noticed that from all the manipulation before, it frayed the string. So I tied it in, right? I put the hammer down on her. That thing, a nuclear war couldn't move that thing, right? However, when I pulled it pulled back canted. So I was screwed. So the bow tech said, let me cut it out. So he went to cut it out, and he couldn't do it because the strings were too frayed. So that's the end of my story. So I can't shoot the bow until I get new strings. So I put an ASAP order in Sunday night. And he was there, my string guy, and he goes, yeah, I got you covered, man. I'll get them to you by Friday. So that's the story. See how concise that was?
I thought we're destroying Aether again.
Now we're talking about my peep first.
Oh, okay.
It only takes a peep.
Takes one peep. That's all.
Yeah, want to clarify a peep.
Yeah, and the clarifier's in the peep. That's a good pun.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
I make the connection.
Did you do that purposely?
Yes, of course I did.
But I didn't bring up clarifiers, so the audience doesn't know what that is unless they know what a clarifier is.
I know that you know.
Oh, that was just good enough for you as long as you knew that I knew.
Yeah.
I can
understand. That's enough. Oh, we got another super chat from
Did we?
Yeah, it says redefine medium and narrative will be on your side.
That's exactly right, because when it boils down to it, Unitalks Mood, thanks for the super chat, by the way. That is correct. Out of all the background noise and the idiot red herring fallacies that come about when you ask somebody what is ether, get your popcorn. It all boils down to a medium, and they have to get around that or redefine that term, and you can't do it. See, that's what baltards do. They try to redefine terms. You can't do that. The medium's already defined. So, like I said, you're immediately in a law of identity violation if you try it. It'll be feeble. I will point it out, and everyone's going to laugh at you. And like I said, a cherry on topper equivocation fallacy. So it's nonsense. You can't do it. So it's all over.
Why do I need a medium?
You actually don't, but they think you do. So I'm arguing in their paradigm.
Why don't we first sort of try to define why they need it?
I think they tried to. They said that because of their electromagnetic waves, which don't exist. And a vacuum doesn't exist. You can't say a vacuum. If you go to a perfect vacuum and say there's nothing in there, well, you can't say that nothing exists because you have to have a vacuum chamber to even attempt it, right? So immediately we're outside. Let's take care of this. Immediately outside natural science. So you got to go. You can't have any type of vacuum without a chamber. So if there's something there. Does everyone follow? I hope everyone follows that. And if you go as far as say, if we suck all the air out, meaning a perfect vacuum, you're in a second law of thermodynamics violation. So it's check any direction you try to go or they try to go, they're checkmated. You can't. So I don't know what else to do. I can only put out the information. You guys can either take it or leave it. You know, put it through your own crucible and see if it makes sense. I don't see any rebuttal to my actual argument. There was plenty of comments underneath the video, right? But amazingly, not dealing with any parts of my presentation. So if
There's a guy on this morning that's why I was trying to send you a message to get over there because you got somebody challenge you on Flat Earth Debate.
Oh, I didn't see your message. I was already on my way over. I seen your message late.
So, okay, so
Nathan took care of him.
So we got people saying there is a vacuum then because of ether.
Say that one more time.
So you said there's something. So if you talk about nothing, right, and nothingness, is that per definition a vacuum?
I don't know. You're going to have to ask them.
Okay, so.
Well, according to their statements, the main thing is when you have a vacuum chamber and you take everything out of the vacuum chamber and shine a light, then it shines from one spot to the other. Therefore, there exists a medium. But that's nonsensical because you can't say there's nothing in that vacuum because you can never get there. That's a second law of thermodynamics violation. Follow?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's non sequitur at every point. You get flamethrowed.
Apparently, then through a vacuum, the light particles can go.
Yeah, well, like I said, I could put a pitching machine in a vacuum. Now, not everything's evacuated from the chamber, but I could put a pitching machine in there and drop it down. They can only go down to 10 to the negative 6 up there in Sandusky, right? So I could put an electric pitching machine in there and turn it on with a bunch of baseballs. I'm betting that they're going to fly to the other side of the chamber.
Mm-hmm.
Betty, let me say something. You know what it's like, Betty? It's like when you deal with guys like M. Scott Veach and they try to tell you that we have a narrow way with science. It's too narrow. You got to use your imagination. Well, they're saying the same thing what he said. The guy told Nathan today, you're limited. You're limiting yourself.
No, this has nothing to, hold on. This has nothing to do with science whatsoever.
Exactly, and that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, nothing. The ether doesn't have anything to do with, or natural law.
Well, the thing is that if you make a sort of a vacuum chamber, we still make it ourselves, and it's still on Earth. It has still the properties of, like, it's still things in there will drop down, right? I mean, is it still a vacuum if there is like objects in them?
If it's a vacuum, say that one more time.
So is some vacuum chamber still a vacuum if there's like physical things in there?
They classify it with convention according to the Torr value, and they put vacuum on it. So you have high. Is it high? You know what I mean. They give adjectives. 1 second, I'll get the specifics. Hold on. I'll just do the top 3.
Mm-hmm.
I think I did it during the present. In fact, I know I did it during the presentation. Hold on. They have high, very high, and extreme. So the high vacuum is 10 to the negative 3rd, and up through extreme, which is 2 and through 10 to the negative 17 Torr.
Mm-hmm.
So they classify them with convention. So you understand. There's nothing wrong with the convention. I don't have a problem with that. You have to be able to classify different levels. I got that part.
Yeah, but we are only talking about air being sort of taken out of a vacuum chamber, but can we still classify it as a vacuum chamber if there's objects in them? Like you put maybe an apple in there, or
no, then there's something in there. No, you.
So it still sort of holds to materialism in a sense.
Materialism.
Yeah, you put material in them in a vacuum chamber, right? I mean, there can be material in a vacuum chamber.
Well,
apparently.
the vacuum chamber itself is material.
Yes, exactly. But then, I mean, there is no nothingness in a vacuum chamber. Basically.
Even if there was nothing in there, like you didn't put anything in it, it's still a vacuum chamber. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
I mean, people try to create nothing, but you can't create nothing.
Yeah, because there's always something.
Nothing or no thing.
Oh.
No thing.
Perfect.
Well, no thing then. Huh? So what we are doing is just sort of creating a fantasy. Because if you put something in that vacuum chamber, like an apple, and you drop it from the ceiling, and you make sort of a mechanism that it can drop it, it will still fall down. Go boom boom, right?
Go boom boom. Go what?
Go boom boom.
Go boom boom, man.
No, there's no water in the chamber.
No splash?
No splash. By the way, it will boil and like evaporate throughout the whole chamber.
Well, why would you have to drop the apple? Just roll it in there. It doesn't matter anyway, because
I mean, it still sort of has the same laws as like things go down, right?
Don't get too crazy with this. Listen, you still have to. You still.
That's the thinking part that we are taking place, right? And people are trying to get their thoughts around it and try to get something to work. And some people came towards an ether. Not that I'm a sort of an ether believer. No, absolutely not.
What?
But people are trying to have a sort of concept, like they had that concept of things going to flames, right? There must be something that makes it burn.
Yeah, phlogiston. Yes. Yeah, exactly. You got it. Yep.
Yeah. So it's basically what they're doing is sort of the same thing.
Yep.
Trying to sort of get a concept for why things are here and why things sort of propagate, or right? It's sort of a gap theory.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, you brought that up the other day. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Adam. Adam, come lately.
And it's rest. Can't deal with it no more. I wish it would be put to rest. I'm sick of hearing it.
Well, the thing is that people like to talk about stuff and try to get their heads around things, and they finally will meet the creator, right?
But Ben, you ask them what ether is, they tell you everything else but what this ether is.
Yeah, well, they are just trying to settle things in their minds.
Betty, hello everyone. Hey, Kieran.
Hey, what's up, Brian?
I made the point earlier on the show, and I made the point a few days ago, that if you or I claimed that the reason that light propagates through the vacuum is because there is still at least one molecule of air in there, and that the air is the reason that the light can propagate, and all it needs is just one molecule of air, then that can never be disproven, because we can never get a perfect vacuum.
Right.
So even though that's a load of rubbish, the point is that we can actually prove air exists, and we can prove that there can never be a perfect vacuum. So that claim alone, as I said earlier, is more validatable than the claim of ether, which is a non-manifest, manifest, non-cookies, whatever. It's a nothing. Yeah. So if you said to me, if I was claiming ether, and you said, no, all we need is just one air molecule in a vacuum chamber for light to propagate through it, I can't disprove it. You can prove air exists. You can prove that light exists. You know, I have nothing at that point. But that is complete and utter rubbish. You can't actually prove, it's just a claim. But it's a lot stronger of a claim or an argument than to claim that ether is the reason for it doing it, because that would require nothing to be in the vacuum chamber for a start, and it would, it also would require if I was claiming it to prove the existence of this thing, and me saying it's non-manifest or you can't see it, whatever, it's like there is no evidence whatsoever for this thing. So your one air molecule claim destroys my claim every time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but the thing is that I just try to sort of be a sort of a ether apologist. Let me take the Texas sort of stance on this. I mean, people are trying to get grips on their world, and they want to sort of know why things are the way they are, right? And then try to see the connection between creator and creation, and there's a distinction, right?
Well, I think ether myself, the whole ether argument is really just an argument for general relativity. It's just general relativity with a different coat on it. That's what it seems like to me.
Correct, Brian.
Why?
Well, because ether is part of the theory of general relativity, the colloquial theory from Einstein. Ether is necessary within that theory for that theory to work. It's part of it. So if they can't get the theory of general relativity to work, they might get ether in the back door. But it's all based in heliocentric space. It's all like the two of them are directly connected. Even in QE's presentation on Saturday, he showed how Einstein stated that ether, that like basically his whole general relativity theory, none of that would work even conceptually without the concept of ether allowing light to propagate through heliocentric space. The two of them are joined at the hip.
That's wrong.
Okay, then correct me then.
When Michelson made, well, man, I don't want to say any of this because I'm like not big on the ether, but I studied.
You just told me I was wrong, though, right?
Yeah, well, when Michelson Morley did the experiment, Michelson.
Whoa!
Was,
Stop!
a
Stop! Experiment? You say? What was the?
I mean, whatever.
Well,
yeah,
no, not whatever. What's the hypothesis?
Stars moving, maybe.
Stars moving is not a viable scientific hypothesis. You'd fail fifth grade general science. Don't overtalk me.
All right, we'll call it a test.
Nope. In this context, a test is an experiment.
All right, I'll shut up.
Thank you.
Wise man.
Anyway, ether does kill. Sorry.
How can you sort of like prove something that's immaterial, right? So I'm coming up like with something totally out of the ordinary, like a miracle, right? A miracle is something that you can't grasp, but still sort of materialize.
Say again. Say what? What? We went to miracles. Wait a second. We're inside physics right now.
No, you are inside physics, and physics has to do with the material world.
That's correct. A very important point there, Betty.
Exactly.
So you're outside the context of the discussion, but you're correct.
Yeah, no, I'm on the sort of the opposite of this discussion, right? I'm just on the immaterial.
Say that one more time. Sorry, I was looking at something else. I was looking at.
I'm on the opposite of material, like the immaterial. So, and the both can never meet in that sense, right?
Right. There's always a distinction. There may be a connection. There isn't a maybe. There's most assuredly a connection. But they're not the same thing. That's why there's a connection. You don't have to have a connection if they're the same thing. How about that?
Yeah. Well, they can't connect in a sense that you can sort of sense immaterial, right? So anything that materializes, you can basically feel or with your five senses, I suppose.
Sometimes you can't. You need equipment to figure it out. But it's either if it's physical, then it's either matter or energy. That's what physical means.
So what do you have to measure then?
Yes,
example?
chemical formula or structure.
What do you have to measure and you can't feel that with your five senses?
What can you measure? Radio waves. Well, they're not actual waves, but I say radio waves. I say radio waves. That's what everyone knows them as. So don't say, "Oh, QE said they're waves." Lex, I'm just telling you.
What are they?
Say again. What are radio waves? Just hold on. Let's let Betty finish her topic. Go ahead, Betty.
So yeah, well, that could be. I like that question, by the way. I would like to see if you.
What's radio?
Sort of yeah, radio waves.
Number one, they're not waves, and what radio? This is so hard to discuss because you have to use their vernacular, right? And it gets confusing. So what they call radio waves is non-visible light. How about that?
But sorry, I was looking at something else again. I think if you can use it, I can use it.
Yeah, that's what I thought when you said it. I said, "What? I can't say anything against that." Radio waves are non-visible light. There's a spectrum of light that you can't see. There's only a small spectrum which we can. So
well, we as humans can detect it.
We can detect it with detectors, yes, but not. You're not going to detect a radio wave with just your body.
Can I ask a question, QE?
But can we not hear that then? Radio
Betty's not going to have anything of it, Brian. Go ahead, Betty.
Can we hear the radio wave?
Only if you
or do
have...
we also need a device to sort of translate that then?
Yes. Receiver.
Receiver.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't try it, Brian. She's going to come up with something else.
So what? You said there's no wave. What is it?
Like it's a particle.
It's a particle.
Mm-hmm.
Like how? What kind of particle?
How is something a particle?
No, what kind of particle is a radio wave?
It's a discrete chunk of energy and momenta. They're called photons.
So basically, radio waves are also part of light?
Yes. They're not part of light. They are light. Or
okay, but then we can only hear it. We can't see it.
In that particular case, yeah.
So it's a spectrum.
But there is a spectrum. They call it the electromagnetic spectrum. Radio waves through gamma rays, but they're not waves. They're particles. Shown to you about 100 years ago with the photoelectric effect and Compton scattering. And by the way, if you go along this path and say, this isn't that wasn't real, you will deny. You must deny. If you say that, you must deny some serious high-tech industries and disciplines, including but not limited to spectroscopy. That's the actual one, not spectrochocoloscopy. Solar energy, fiber optics, and radiology. Those disciplines and industry operate under and are founded on the photoelectric effect.
What's the hypothesis for the photoelectric effect?
Say again?
What's the hypothesis for Compton scattering?
It's not an experiment.
Interferometer is high.
This one's not an experiment. It's just showing the what's and the is's. Don't.
Yeah, it's a discovery, not a.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out whether light is waves or particles. So don't false analogy fallacy me here.
All right, man.
Thank you. So yes, so they are particles. Unless you want to deny all that, go ahead.
So it seems to me like light in itself has all kinds of properties to manifest.
Yes.
or not manifest.
Yes.
Or it needs to basically be like sort of converted into something that we can either see, smell,
Can?
hear, touch, whatever.
Did you say can or toucan?
Why are you interrupting me while I make a really nice statement?
Okay, go ahead. So I'm sorry.
Light. So basically, the whole spectrum of light is basically, well, what did I say just now? Because you got me off my game.
I'm sorry.
Basically, a communication device, sort of everything, right? Right?
Well, that's the radio, like I said, is non-visible. We can see the visible ones. I mean, you can detect
No,
that.
I want you to see it a little bit broader than that. Like I'm saying. So, you said it is a particle, right?
Definitely.
But light is like a spectrum. You have like UV, something that you can't see, some things you can see. Without light, we cannot see anything. I mean, right?
Yes.
But also light, light is basically also radio waves, right? You can hear with them, or through them, or by them. How do you say that? I don't know. Even maybe smell and touch, right? Because if the light is like touching your skin, you get burned in certain.
Yeah, but that's your
ways.
skin burning. That's not the light burning.
But still, it has to sort of be on you, right? It has to be directed to you.
Well, yeah.
But Betty, are you stating that, because this is the direction I was going to go, that light, as it's described, is basically a medium of information?
Yes.
I don't know if medium is the right word. Yeah,
yes.
That's where I was going to ask questions about.
And
Whether
when
we
you
can see it
take
or
that a
can't.
little bit further away, if you sort of go biblical, let's take it biblical. Who says that he is the light?
Well, God the Lord.
Exactly. And he says he spoke this world into existence. And why didn't he use light as that medium?
Yeah, he might have used radio.
So if we are basically could define something as an ether, you could basically say it's light.
Well, we don't have to even go down to the photoelectric effect. Hold on one second. Let me see if I can't.
Did you get that, John?
I did, but it was a little incoherent.
No, it wasn't. It was very profound. Really, really profound, and you missed it, man.
I'm sorry. I was searching. I was searching for something.
You missed the mark.
That happens a lot in my life.
Thanks, Lieu. Appreciate it.
Just rumpus. I'm sorry. I was searching for something with your profound statement. I will go back and re-listen.
Yeah, and then you don't listen. Yeah, exactly. I made some profound statement.
Can you say it again concisely?
Concisely. So when light, right, in all its spectra, is smell, is touch, is hearing, is seeing, all the five senses basically, right?
Sight, hearing.
Sight, yeah, well, radio waves, right, is hearing. Right?
Yeah, but you have to have a receiver. You're not going to hear them just with your ears.
Well, why not? We don't need our ears always to hear. You know?
Oh, brother. Is this part of the profound thing?
Yes. So light, the originator of light is God. So he communicates to us through light.
Yeah, but light itself is not information. It's just a carrier. And it has to have...
So therefore, but God is light, and he will be the one that will carry it to you.
Yeah.
Both things in existence.
Yeah.
So there you go.
So remember my example with Paul Revere?
Yes, so what?
The one light or two lights?
Apparently you don't get the message either, so...
No, I get the message. I understand what you're saying.
Am I speaking English? Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Oh, boy.
Yeah, it's usually the deceiving end that is like convoluted, not the one that speaks into existence.
Yep. Okay. Was that your point?
Yep, I will shut up now.
No, you don't have to shut up. I was trying to get back to, I had a previous point. I just got a banana delivered to me. Thanks.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. I got to check on something. Just 1 second. And I know it's going to take me 10 minutes to get back to this topic. 1 second.
Well, it's
Go
dead
on,
air.
Brad.
Okay, I'm back.
Shut up,
Okay,
John.
I'd like to entertain the. I'd like to entertain.
No, you
the,
don't. No, you don't. Not yet.
Let me.
I think I got a viable. I think I have a viable hypothesis.
It's Betty. I'm trying to present on something here. I just wanted a timeout for a second. I had to ask somebody something. Now I'm back.
Yeah, but we can still have someone talk in the meantime.
Yeah, I just got back. They can talk after I'm done here. I got a small point to make, and then we can get to them.
Unbelievable.
All right? So my point was, you really don't need the photoelectric effect or Compton scattering. You can see it. So, in 1981, conducted in December 1981 from Hamamatsu Photonics. Of course, they put it at 82. The actual demonstration was here in 1981. You guys reading this? Now, this isn't an experiment. They screwed up with that. However, they're talking about single photons, right? So here's what they do back in 1981. Oh, is she going to play on me? Oh, we got to put up with that. You punk. Yeah, I want to skip the ads. So what they're doing here is they're setting up a double slit experiment. This is Hamamatsu Photonics from 1982. Let's get to the point. So they set it up. They're counting photons going through the double slit experiment. Or it's not an experiment, it's just a double slit. In a few seconds, he's going to show you. Hopefully. Yeah, we're getting there. Just be patient. All right, it starts. Light starts to the double slit. Uh-oh, what's happening here? You see these dots? Discrete chunks right here? Another word for them is quanta. This is...
Or arbitrary.
This is like... How is it arbitrary?
Because they assigned a value to the...
They didn't assign a value. There's no value here. They're dots hitting a detector.
To the photon.
Yeah. The photon hitting the detector.
Yeah.
There's no values here. It's physically hitting the detector.
Yeah, a discrete chunk of light.
Yeah.
An amount of light.
Yeah. Photons, discrete chunks, quanta. There they are. 1982. From Hamamatsu Photonics. You want another one? Here's a newer one. Anton Zellinger, particle physicist. Double slit experiment. It's not an experiment. This one isn't an experiment. It's just a demonstration. So he's got double slit. Now, he's got a detector, right? And he's projecting it up onto the screen as the light's on. Wonder what's happening over here. You see these discrete chunks of energy and momenta? Discrete chunks, little dots. See, that's particles. Waves don't do that. Waves will expose the entire transverse dimension. That's the definition of a wave, by the way. So I don't need the photoelectric effect, even though, like I said, it's industry-based. It's like well done. You could do it in your garage. But he's showing you right here, right in front of your face, what's happening. Look at all these dots popping up. Ping, 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 ping. Now, when he's done, the overall pattern of these single photons will be an interference pattern or wave-like, but not these individual ones, isolated.
Of course it'll be an interference pattern.
Of course.
They add up to a wave.
Of course. A wave of what? Is it a physical wave?
I don't think it's a massless
No, I didn't
chunk
say
of energy.
massless. I said physical. Is it a physical wave? Is a photon? See, I just showed you particles. Now you
Yeah, I'm
just
just
said,
being a contrarian, dude. I like the evidence, bro. But I'm just being a contrarian, man.
well, how can you be contrarian after I just provided you evidence?
I'm just giving a statement, like if I was to say, because maybe it is a massless particle, but
No
hold
one
on.
said massless here. It is a particle. I never said massless. What's mass?
Well, that's the definition of a photon, right? A
No.
massless chunk
No.
or discrete chunk of energy. But here's my point.
No,
You
stop.
probably got something
Stop. Discrete chunk of energy and momenta. I didn't hear mass in there.
Yeah, but with momentum, you got to have mass.
Oh, okay? Define mass.
I don't believe in all that bullshit, but I know it's in the equation, right? It's in the equation.
It's not
momentum.
not in my equation. It's not.
And okay.
Unless you can define
Anyway,
it. Anyway, you want to bypass particles. Okay, go ahead. Anyway, what?
no, I don't. Like I asked them to define it. I asked them to define mass, but I'm just going off. It sounds kind of like their science a little bit, but I guess if it's not an experiment, it's not science. But still, it's if they assign an amount of energy or an amount of light and call it a photon, and then they could fire a tiny speck of light and call it a photon, and then once they keep adding it up, I mean, it does behave weirdly, but it would naturally add up to a wave, because that's
A wave of what?
Waves of good question.
Waves of good questions. Yeah. Right. Yep. Yep. It's not a physical
It's
wave.
definitely complicated. It's complicated, though. I like the evidence you bring. I'm not trying to be a dick or nothing. I like.
Well, what can you
evidence.
do? I just showed you light hitting it as particles. What's left? If you deny it, I just call you a religious fanatic, blind melon chicken.
Yeah, I don't like denying what I see, but I wanted to entertain you. I think I might have a hypothesis for Michelson-Morley.
Go ahead.
And tell me, let's go through the steps. I might or I might
No,
not.
not
It's
steps. I want the hypothesis, and I want the independent and dependent
Okay.
variable. First, I
All right,
want
in
the
that-
natural phenomena.
In that order?
Hold on.
Okay.
I want the first step. Natural phenomena observed. That will be the dependent variable.
Okay. Stars rotating,
Stars rotating.
or just stars moving overhead.
The appearance of stars rotating, right? Because we don't know if they're moving or we're moving. We do
Right.
know, but you know what I mean.
Right.
Okay?
Exactly.
Stars
Yeah, fair enough.
rotating. Let me write it down. Dependent variable, stars rotating. One
Next
second.
is a hypothesis, right?
1 second. Stars rotating. I'm not going to put it up on the computer. I'm just writing it down for myself, so there's no misunderstanding. Stars rotating is the dependent variable, natural phenomena observed. Independent variable, please.
Okay. Doesn't the hypothesis come next?
After you give me the independent variable.
Well, I got to formulate that out of my hypothesis. Right?
No, you don't. The independent variable is part of a hypothesis. It's not derived from it.
Okay. Let me see. I got a couple I could try, but I wanted to really do the hypothesis first. But I'll try. Independent variable would
So-
be
Go
the light moving is causing the star movement.
So
star
light
rotation.
movement causes star rotation. That's non sequitur.
How about, okay, well, I'll go the other route. The ground move, which I don't believe this, but just for sake of the entertaining it, I'll say the ground moving is causing the light to appear to rotate.
Ground moving is causing the stars to rotate.
Yeah.
Yes?
Just for independent variable.
Okay.
So for a hypothesis.
No, stop. Nope. Because now, do you know what an independent variable is and the tenets of
The
what?
cause. The cause.
It's the cause and two more.
Two more. So the independent variable is manipulated by the observer.
It has to be varied and manipulated by the researcher.
Okay. Well,
So-
I'm gonna try that. Well, why don't you want my hypothesis?
Because you haven't come up with a coherent one, because you'd have to rotate or move the ground?
No, who said? Well, maybe I will.
You did when you called it an independent variable. You did.
hypothesis.
You did when you called it an independent variable. You'd have to manipulate the ground.
Maybe I will.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. What's next?
Well, can you? Well, you got to
What's
hear my
next?
hypothesis.
Carnival tent?
Why are you so?
What's
skeptic?
next?
Why are
Don't
you so
ask me
scared
why.
about hypothesis?
John,
You want
let
me
him
to give you the
talk.
conclusion next?
Oh, fit John. Let me tell you something, Betty. You just listened to this, right? He tried
I
to.
can't listen to it because you intervened the whole
He
time.
tried. We heard what he said, Betty. Thank you. He said the ground was the independent variable. I said you had to manipulate that. So he said, maybe I will. And then I said, what's your vocation? Carnival tent?
Yeah, but that's already a statement. Let him make the statement.
Let him make the statement of what?
Let him talk and get to the end of his point.
The
And
end
then
of
we
his
can
point was dead.
laugh. And then we can laugh.
All right.
I mean,
Let me
just get people to talk. Don't interfere the whole time.
No.
Let
I
me
got to
sit
stop him.
before.
No.
Hello, let me talk. Like you said before, let people talk to see how far they get themselves into like quicksand.
I just did.
Right? Because we know already that it you can't do it. You can't manipulate the ground. But I would like to see what he comes up with.
Yeah, that's what I did. I let him train
No,
wreck
you
him.
didn't let him.
I let
You
it.
didn't
Yes,
let
I
him.
did because he said the independent variable was
No,
the.
you didn't. No,
He
you didn't.
said the independent variable was the ground. I let him go, and he said it.
Yes, but then he said I might be able to move around, and
Okay.
I want to know why he thinks that.
Okay.
And you cut him short.
Okay. Let's see how he's going to manipulate the ground, Betty.
Yeah,
Thanks.
man, you cut him short. Thanks for unmuting. Well, I'm going to say this: the movement of the ground is if, and I don't believe this, y'all. Just for starters. So, I'm just going through the steps. So I thought I was going to give. Is there any special reason, real quick, why I can't give a hypothesis? It's nothing special or nothing.
Yeah. The reason I explained to you before is a hypothesis is made up of a dependent variable and an independent variable. The dependent variable comes first. It's your observed natural phenomena. The next thing you do is find the independent variable that is the cause of what you just observed, the effect. Once you have that, that statement right there is the hypothesis. You cannot have a hypothesis without an independent and dependent variable first. Good? Now I explained it twice.
If this, if then that
Okay.
statement.
All right. So the independent variable is not that I believe it once again, but that the movement of the ground is causing the light to appear to rotate.
So the movement
So
of the ground.
What I would do.
Hold on.
For fuck's sake, dude.
Hold on. I'm trying to get it down so you
Dude,
don't
you're
run away with this
like
crazy. Shut up,
bro. Are you?
Shut the fuck up. How about that? I'm just trying to clarify it before you move on.
No, you're holding my hand.
Shut the fuck up. So, just to be clear, so we understand it and the audience understands it, you say the ground moving is causing the stars to rotate. Or are you saying the ground moving is causing the light from the stars to rotate?
Either, man.
Either one. There you go. That's not a viable hypothesis, but continue because we need to listen to the rest of this.
Okay, so what I would do is I would try to move the ground that I'm standing on and conduct a test. I'll conduct a test sitting still. And I'm not, like I said, I ain't saying I agree with this. I'm just trying to entertain it. So I observe the stars while standing completely still. Okay, while not personally moving. And then I would move the ground that I'm standing on, like just for sarcasm's sake, like a conveyor belt. And I would observe the stars and I would put light in the telescope. So if I do not have to adjust my angle anymore, like I had to initially to see the star, then the light has already left the star and is already on its way to me. if I do have to adjust the angle of the telescope further to see the star, then it is the ground moving, because it's all moving. Basically, it's all moving together. The light is moving as the ground's moving. So it's got to be pretty much one or the other. And I think when Aries did this back in the day, he found that he did not have to adjust the angle of the telescope, which said that the light was already on its way. It was already in a path, and then the star carried on its merry old way, but the light had already left the star and was on its way to the telescope. So no matter how much you slow it down, if we're not moving, then we will not have to adjust the telescope angle. See what I'm saying? Or did I explain that bad?
You still have no viable hypothesis yet.
Yeah, it's a reach. The hypothesis, I'd say, I'm having to go opposite on what I wanted to, but I would say that it's the movement of my telescope causing the star rotation. Okay, the movement of the telescope is causing the star rotation. My null would be
no. You don't have a viable hypothesis.
The telescope is not.
You don't have a viable hypothesis to go to a null.
I probably agree. I probably agree with you, but I'm almost done. And the null.
Oh, no, you're done now.
Okay.
You don't have a viable hypothesis to create.
Isn't this just sort of a what is question? I mean, you can't manipulate the ground. You can only manipulate maybe the telescopes where the light is sort of coming through, right?
Yeah, I should have said it like this, Betty. I should have said for my dependent or independent variable, I should have said the telescope moving instead of the ground. I should have said the motion of the telescope is causing apparent star rotation. Okay, because I can manipulate.
Yeah, you would have said that the telescopes is man-made.
Well, no, you can use the telescope. You can use man-made equipment.
You're robotic.
You know, just not in the.
You're robotic.
You can use man-made equipment.
No, you're
sorry.
Better. No, go ahead. You're better that time. Go ahead.
Okay, I would say that in the dependent variable, it has to be a man-made. I mean, a natural cause. I do agree with. In fact, correct. I really agree with all this shit you're saying, Curie. But I would say that the experiment can involve. It has to involve man-made equipment to manipulate.
That's true. That's true.
And for last-ditch effort. So I could say the movement of the telescope and try and make it feasible for science, and then say the null would be the movement of the telescope is not causing apparent star rotation, and conduct that experiment. But going off like Compton scatter and all that, I was just fucking with you about being science and shit, because I know it was just evidence and everything isn't science. But I would say also like an interferometer or a ring laser gyro are used, and
what's this have to do with ether?
Well, it's the last ditch effort. The last ditch effort is that
what's ether?
Is well, I don't know. Technology. I'm almost done. That technology or the interferometer shows a 15 degree an hour precession at sea level, and but that's not science. But that's just equipment, technology, and we use them in airplanes. It detects all movement. But so to me, in my opinion, something's rotating. But I'm not like a giant ether fan. But I could give a decent argument for it. I could show it.
Go ahead, show the ether. Go ahead, show the ether right now.
Show me ether.
All right, I'm gonna post a video, and it's just a short video. But if you go for
I'm not running a video on this. I can post a picture of it. I'm not running a video. No chance.
It's only like 30 seconds.
I don't give a shit.
If you want to see it. Okay.
So post the video. I'll take a screen cap. Fair?
Sure.
Can I say something to Brian a second?
Yeah, go ahead.
Brian, thank you, Kiwi. Brian, the claim is that ring laser gyroscopes record a 15 degree an hour drift at sea level, right? For a start, where that comes from is from the whole hashtag thanks Bob thing, and it wasn't a ring laser gyroscope, it was a fiber optic gyroscope. It wasn't his, it was someone else's. But the point is that the claim that the ring laser gyroscope does this, does it do it when it's in the airplane up in the sky? Does it do it in the airplane while the airplane is sitting on the runway? Because how can the gyroscopes, the ring laser gyroscopes, be drifting around the place all the time and still be able to hold rigid in space? How can it do that? Why would they use them on jet planes, on planes, if they're drifting all the time? How are they ever going to be able to use them? So there's a claim out there, but there isn't support for the claim.
That's a real good question, man. I really couldn't give you a good answer for that. It's a good question.
So wait a minute.
It doesn't prove anything anyway. I just finished. It doesn't prove anything. Anyway, even if they were doing it, it doesn't prove anything.
I don't think it proves nothing, man. I'm just like I said, I'm being the contrary and giving. I'm not even sure I believe in but to me something is moving if we do see that movement. I know it doesn't happen with mechanical gyroscopes, but I know there's no moving parts in interferometers or ring laser gyros, and it is a very, very slow rotation. Unless he's lying about it, unless they were all lying about it, which
Well, I'm not calling them. I wouldn't directly call them lawyers or anything like that. But I'll put it this way: I don't know about the fiber optic gyro, but I know about the ring laser gyro. You have to have it on. There's a process of turning it on, and it takes like half an hour or something. A ring laser gyro, a fiber optic gyro within, let's say, a gyro compass, that takes half an hour to get to the point of where it can be used, or just over half an hour. So if people are just turning these things on and they're not allowing them to do what they're supposed to do for the length of time they're supposed to leave them go, then that could cause some issue. I don't know, but I know that the fiber optic or the ring laser gyroscopes are used by aerospace, and if they're drifting all the time, what would they be no good to you? If they're no good, why would they use them if they were always drifting?
And so ultimately, here's the problem. I gotta agree with I gotta agree with John. I ultimately have to agree with John. Like, we can't use science to say what's causing that, because that's just being honest. Anybody who denies that, like I'm giving some contrarian evidence and all that, but I'm not sure I 100% believe in it either. But to me, I'm real open-minded. But like I said, ultimately, John is right. If we can't conduct science, there's no way to know for sure the cause.
No, I did not say that. No, I did not say that. Nope.
No, that's what I say, though. I thought I was agreeing with you, but if we can't conduct an experiment, I don't think we can prove it.
If you'd just relax for a second, I never said that. I never implied it, ever. What I'm saying is only natural cause and effect relationships can be adjudicated with the scientific method. However, there are other truths you can get to without having it be science. So I'm not saying that just because it's not scientific, it's wrong. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you're in a category error. To prove what's and is's, you can still prove what's and is's. I could grab a tennis racket, right, and say, this is a tennis racket and define it, right? Well, I could prove a tennis racket, but I didn't need science. It's still true. Follow?
Absolutely. And yeah, I do. I back that up. And I say what I meant is we could never prove the cause for the drift, or whatever you want to call it.
Yes.
Because it is a cause and effect question.
Correct. It's based on the question.
We can speculate at best.
Yes. So now we're going to get to your Aether. I'm going to post it up on screen. I have your video. I can't play this. Okay. So what do we got here?
Okay.
You
go to this is what I would say. I don't say nothing for sure in this video. I leave it open to I let the observer or the viewer decide. But I show basically two things, really three things, but I'll just cut it short.
Okay.
I'll say this guy evacuates his vacuum chamber to the low as it'll go, and it's pretty low. It's not super low, but it's low, very, very low. Then he closes it, detaches the pump, and he dunks it in a barrel of water. Okay. And for one, it floated, and he says the buoyancy is stronger than that of a container filled with air, which I'd like them to show me in the buoyancy equation how, if they're displacing the same amount of water, how the hell it's more buoyant. But the main point is that the vacuum chamber, when he opens it underwater, it starts trembling and pounding with vibration, like he says he feels it. And then it starts, when it gets about halfway full, he shuts it off and checks the pressure, and the pressure hasn't went up at all. Then he turns it back on, and you see the camera, and it's bubbling vigorously. I'm talking about vigorously. So upon first thought, I thought it might have been water boiling, but like I said, the pressure didn't go up, so no air entered there, and the amount it's bubbling is just insane, and no bubbles are coming up to the top of the water. It's all happening inside of the chamber. It's an insane amount of energy, and then when it fills all the way up, there's like no air. There's like a little pea-sized speck of air in there. So you see how much air was actually in it when he started it, and it's barely any, just like a tiny little second spot of air, and all that bubbling. And to me, it has to be something. So what's causing them bubbles? I know that it's not scientific, but it is technology. And what's causing them bubbles? Because you got to watch about a minute 20 in the video. It's going crazy bubbling, and then there's no air at the end. It's just full of water. And I say, is it nothing? And then he says it's nothing bubbles. He says it's bubbles of a vacuum or something, but he calls them nothing bubbles. And to me, I say that no, them bubbles have got to be something. Maybe it's something so mild we can't detect it without strong forces or strong energies. And but I don't think they're bubbles of nothing. And it's provably not air.
Okay, so try to be concise. You're saying the nothing bubbles are ether.
For a lack of a better description, I would have
Going
to say
on my
the best
list.
we could do to show it.
All right, wrote it down. Okay, that it?
Yeah, that's it.
All right, thanks.
Brian, can I ask you something about this?
In conclusion, I'm not a big I'm not a big fan of it though. Just to end this, y'all, I'm not a big fan. Like I'm not going to argue this inside out. I'm just putting up what I would think if it does exist. That's what I think it would be. But I don't believe that gas goes down and all that other horse shit. I don't. I'm just kind of in the middle.
I just want to ask you about this thing about he put the vacuum chamber in after he took out whatever amount of air he could take out. So there was minimal air left in it. He put that into a barrel of water, you're saying, is it?
Yeah, like a barrel.
Yeah.
Looks like a barrel.
And did the bubbles come up to the top of the water? Top of the barrel? What way did the bubbles go?
They bubble from the bottom of the chamber about 3/4 of the way in the chamber. They're bubbling like out to the right, up front, but they're starting from the bottom, and they're going out and up. But they don't never make it outside of the container. They never make it to the top of the container.
So there's bubbles of some kind inside the vacuum is trying to get out of the vacuum, is what you're saying, inside the water.
Well, when we fill up a normal container, it burps as it fills up because there's air in it. So it's got to release the air but with the vacuum and no air in there, it's just a crazy amount of bubbling. That's why I recommend everybody watch it. And with an open mind, I'm not trying to prove this shit. I'm just saying if it does exist, that's it. What we're looking at, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm just open-minded.
I'd have to look at it. I can't see it at the moment. I'd have to look at it. I can't make any determination on what is going on there.
And then I'd say another way to see it, if you want to see another backup, like I show a jet doing the sound barrier and that crazy pressure looking thing that follows it. It's not air, because air doesn't behave that way in jets, and it's not sound waves because we don't see sound waves, but it's a crazy thing that has a shape, and these things seem to only happen with examples of crazy amounts of force or energy. And so maybe if there is a something thinner than hydrogen, I really don't know, but maybe if there is, it would explain what, because if we take all the air out of a chamber and there's still a few molecules left, I mean, do you believe that they're bouncing around no matter how big of a container we make, like the size of Sandusky's? Is there like 4 particles bouncing fucking 100 feet and then back and all that? No, I mean, there might be something that is not easy to detect.
No.
And here's my whole thing is that it kills the helium.
No, you said no. No, hold on a second. You said no. So if you have a vacuum chamber, you can't get it down to a perfect vacuum. So there's going to be particles in there, gas particles, right? And you said what are they going to do? Bounce all over the place? No. Really? They won't. Well, what are they going to do?
Well, I'm not a materialist. I don't believe that it's
You're not a materialist.
I don't believe the air is solid particles myself.
Air is solid no, air is gas. They're not solid particles.
Right. I think they're different than obviously they're different, but I think the air is stretching, kind of for lack of a better description. I think the air is stretching. I don't think it's air molecules bouncing around.
So gas molecules don't exist.
Yeah, they exist, but they're but not in the way that they could bounce around. I don't think. I think
really?
More, I think they're more flexible. That's just a personal opinion. Don't hold me to that one. That's just.
Yeah, I'm holding you to it right now.
I know, man. I might have got it. I might have stomped on my mouth here, man. But
that happens to everyone.
Air stretching.
Are you trying to say, Brian, that the air expands and contracts as a grouping of molecules or particles or whatever?
Yeah, I think the air molecules are not solid like the way we describe solids.
Air's not solid. That's why.
Not.
Yeah, right. I think it's flexible.
Yeah, air's not solid by definition.
Molecular bonds.
Here's the only thing that had me even looking into the ether. It was what interested me is looking at the 25 years between I want to say the 16 years between the first Michelson-Morley test.
That's not a test.
Well, whatever it is, and then relativity. It was a quarter for a quarter of a century. Physics was turned upside down because they couldn't explain the shit, and they had to say that the device contracted. This was their explanation: is that the device contracted, but if it's moving at the speed of light, it would have already contracted before they started the test. In other words, whatever contracting it was going to do for momentum of moving at the speed of light, if that's what they're claiming, then it would have already been contracted when they built the damn device. It wouldn't just start right when they turned the freaking lights on, you know. But that kills in my opinion, if we could prove it, which it's hard to, it kills the heliocentric model dead in its tracks. But you know, it's hard to prove.
Well, there's a lot of things that kill the heliocentric model. I don't have to go to any non-experiment and friggin' shit bending, right?
I appreciate you hearing me out though, without any contention, because like I said, man, I wouldn't bet the farm on this shit, and I don't believe in gas particles going down, all that shit. You know, I'm gonna just have my own little thoughts.
Well,
so I appreciate you letting me
I'm
express
sorry I got fired up at you. I just wanted to clarify your point for the audience. That's all I was trying to get to, and I got frustrated, and I apologize for raising my voice to you.
Okay, now
I
we're
was being a little bit of a dick at first too. I appreciate it. I apologize too, bro.
All right, can we move on?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to continue this? Yeah.
Now that everybody's all
Can we go to the clarifying peep again?
No, we don't want to go back to the peep.
Oh, I wanted to see if you can sort of direct your scope and to a new target.
What's the new target?
Any other topic?
Oh, you want to get away from the ether topic? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, well, the thing is, I mean, listen, the way I feel about this is that I think that people are talking to one another on certain topics because they want to sort of see what's more out there to discover and to see what we can discover, right? It might not be science in a way that we will be sort of be able to ascertain cause and effect, right? But still, we might discover like the way things are.
I never said anything otherwise. No,
and I understand that people may call things a certain thing. I mean, we also have a word for nothing, which is nothing, right? So sometimes you need to get a sort of a word out there that might not just be defined all of us. Yeah, we have maybe too little words to describe things, right? and we try to sort of think outside the box. What else is there? What else is there? Because I think that most people still are like mesmerized by what energy and magnetic forces really are.
Sure.
And where it comes from, and how it propagates, and can we get it out of nothing, or do we still have it in motion?
No,
Water,
we already
that sort of thing.
No, we already know about magnetism. It's the motion of electric charge that causes magnetism. Already know that.
Yeah, but still, can we use those magnets that we maybe have to also make energy?
Yeah.
Yeah, but is it perpetual energy?
No, can't do that. You'll run into a first order or second order law of thermodynamics violations.
Yeah, and we sort of, well, how can we sort of discover these fringes, or maybe some possibilities that sort of the black swan of that law?
The black swan of that lawn. Is that what you said?
Law.
Oh, I thought you said the black swan of that lawn.
Oh, you try to really.
No, I'm just saying what it sounded like. I thought you said lawn.
I understand, but you know what I said, and don't convolute.
I am not trying. Don't you get defensive. I'll come in there and I oughta.
Yeah, oh, I oughta too.
Here's an interesting one. Oh, sorry, Benny.
Yeah, I think look at the black swan of that perpetual energy thing, because there are people that has sort of like found out stuff. You have also a guy that made a whole sort of coral like castle out of coral something, and he did it by himself. And these blocks are like weigh a ton. How did he do it? Right? Did he do it by mechanics, or did he do it by some other means? Right? And
aliens, Betty, aliens did it.
How?
I'm right by the Coral Castle, and the rumor around here is that that the tool he had, that one machine he had that didn't look like much, he called it a Sweet 16. They say it was 16 batteries, and he had them all in a series, and he had you know, I think, but he still had to have a way to charge them things. If rumor around here, I'm like, you know, 100 plus miles away from the original place. Not even 100 miles actually. I'm about 60 miles, and that's the rumor around here, is that Sweet 16 was 16 batteries encased in that device. But either way, it was still amazing. But real quick, still kind of on the topic, I heard this is mainstream that for 2 decades the Soviet Union tried to harness free energy from gyroscopes, like big gyroscopes, because on paper they say the Earth's rotation, you know, the spin of the gyro and the energy drawn out of it's kind of a wash on a big flywheel. But the precession, you know, on paper they say you should be able to get free energy from the precession of the gyroscope. And they tried for 2 decades to do this, and they with nothing but fail. And I was thinking, after, you know, you'd think after like 5 years of all the best equipment, all unlimited funds, or damn near, that you'd just say, you know, maybe, just maybe the Earth isn't moving. You know, this shit works in every theory and on paper mathematically, but
no, we already know that, Brian. Brian, we already know that, brother. We already have that for the lack of the Coriolis effect and direct knowledge from stationary drone in the inertial reference frame. All the stars and stuff are moving, so we already know the Earth's not moving.
Right. I'd bet my life on that. You know, as far as us knowing the shape, I would bet almost anything it's not a spinning ball in space. But I'd bet my life that it ain't moving, whatever it might be.
Yep, it's not moving.
I have a direct question for QE.
Uh-oh.
Been a lot of contention over the last few days. It happened on Nathan's show briefly.
Sure.
And I'm going to ask you straight up. Does light have a speed?
There is no, let me put it to you this way. I don't know why this keeps coming up. You cannot, in fact, I was going to play that clip earlier. Ironically, there is no way, there's no possible way for anyone to acquire the knowledge of the one-way speed of light. It's unreachable. You can't do it.
Okay. That may be true, and I don't disagree with that because I watched the Veritasium video myself, so I understand what you're arguing. And this has been a point of contention. And like I'll give an example. I did it on Nathan's show. I bought my wife one of those laser distance finders,
mm-hmm.
and it has a laser out and a sensor back in. That's all it has. It has no other way to triangulate it, which you can actually calculate the distance of something using that, which would indicate that it's a speed or a time over distance, which would indicate that light has a speed.
It may, but you could never acquire the one way.
Okay, so you could at some point say that we know that, relatively speaking, I guess, you hate to use that term.
Yeah, I know you do.
But we know that. What's that?
I said yes. I know you do.
Okay. That we can't determine the one-way speed, but it seems to be there is a speed there and a speed back. We don't know the one way, but we know there's a distance traveled between those 2 points.
There could be
the light source.
Yeah, but it'd just be speculation.
Well, yeah, think about it.
Hold on, let Paul finish. Go ahead and finish up, Paul.
Okay, then so either the people that designed the laser distance finders were using something else to determine this, or they're using that principle. So what principle would they be using other than that?
I use a laser rangefinder. There's optical rangefinders. They use Treg. I have a laser rangefinder.
Is it shooting just one beam out and hitting the target and coming back to a sensor?
They still have to communicate with each other, though, and so it can't only be one.
This is between me and two. Sorry.
No, I'm about done with the topic. I think we've come to the conclusion of this topic. All I can say is they can never ascertain the one-way speed of light.
I agree.
But
you just can't.
There could be a speed you just can't determine the one-way.
They can't determine the one-way speed of light. Correct. That's the end.
But there could be a speed.
Again?
You don't. There could be a speed. You just can't determine the one-way.
Exactly. I'm not saying because I can't do it because I don't have the evidence to support. All I know is you can never ascertain the one-way speed of light. They already know this, right? Veritasium did a complete presentation on this, of course, after 10 years after mine.
I watched it. I saw it.
Yeah.
I saw it. I saw it a few years ago.
Yeah. That's all I could say. For me to go anywhere else further than that, I would be pure. I don't like to speculate. Maybe, while we're talking, alone personally, I'll speculate maybe a little bit, but I'll never do that publicly. I don't like to do it, period.
Okay, the next question. Hold on a second. The next question, there's follow-up. That means then light would have to travel if there is a speed, correct? It cannot be instantaneous.
You're just not going to let this go, are you, Paul?
This is a contention in the flat Earth right now. It's a contention.
I shine my flashlight and it hits the wall. It's instantaneous to me.
What's the point?
If there's a speed or not, and if light is traveling, because the flat Earth, the Aether guys say that it's an instantaneous action at a distance. That's what the Aether guys are saying.
No, they ain't saying that. They're just saying. Oh my God, Paul.
Okay. Oh my God.
Yeah. So the ballers are saying instantaneous. Yeah. They probably learned that from me, right?
The Aether guys are. No, the Aether guys are saying that.
Aether guys are saying instantaneous actions at a distance. Okay. And?
Yeah.
Well, welcome to quantum mechanics.
Okay. I'll drop it.
No, you don't have to drop it. Welcome to quantum mechanics, Aether believers. If you believe in instantaneous actions at a distance, then more power to you because, yeah, that does happen. That's what debunked Einstein, by the way.
Exactly.
That's cool. I just learned something. I didn't know that. That's cool. I like that. But I think they think that it propagates at a certain speed, but I like what you said. That makes perfect.
I can't make any definite. I know that instantaneous actions at a distance exist. Do I know the speed of light? No, no one does. And if I try, I wouldn't even attempt to.
Yeah, but when I shine my flashlight, it's on the wall. So you're going to give me a speed for that?
No.
Okay, thank you. So it's instantaneous.
That's
Well,
fine.
here's something I brought up. There's something I brought up earlier. Let's say I could measure it for whatever reason, and I came up one day it was this speed, another day is that speed, another day is that speed, and it was we come up with an average of the speed. Could that not be used as a means of measurement?
Yeah, it just depends on what convention you're using, but yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to quantify it to make devices and to make programs. You have to quantify it. So yeah, they had to give it a speed to make all these devices and to do, like I said, all the computer programs. But think we're all talking from different parts of the world. And I know that we're way within 186,000 miles a second, but still, I mean, the computer's doing like 5 million, decisions in a second. Like, I mean, and it's going through all of our devices, and I mean, it's just crazy. To me, it's got to be faster than what they say, or instantaneous. I would have to agree.
All right. Is that it? Yes.
That's it. We're good now.
All right.
You got Betty. Betty, do you have to go?
Almost. So I wanna. If people miss me, then I know that I'm gone.
Oh, well.
Yeah. Well, I do like this conversation. I like it a little bit more like mellow and like letting people talk and see what people have to say. And I like this. I mean, I think we can sort of clarify a lot of like things that yeah.
Okay.
Because we assume that the people have a certain point of view, and we're all like in the darkness searching for the light, right?
Betty, thank you so much for calming us down earlier, so I could get closure on my bullshit earlier. Thank you.
Yeah, call me the mediator or the
Intermediate.
intermediate, the ether. Call me ether.
Yeah, I'll call you Ether. All right. All right, Betty. Now listen, Thursday is tentative for right now because there's a lot of things happening. So if we're there Thursday, then we're there. If we're not, we're not.
Surprise for us both.
Say again.
Then it will be a surprise for us both if we are there Thursday.
Yeah, it's looking like not, but I've got a lot of balls up in the air right now.
Okay.
Alrighty. So, Betty, if you have to go, thanks for piloting the show. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, you got a lot of people watching, so it's a good topic. I mean,
Really?
people like.
Oh, yeah. God, I haven't even checked out there.
96 it was just now, and it drops down a little bit, but it was a good amount of people.
Okay.
So, well, good. And if we keep it cordial and nice, then we can maybe get some people to watch this and get their minds around it.
That's my middle name.
Yeah. Well, nah. You're sort of like one end of the spectrum.
What the good end of the spectrum, right, Betty?
I hope so.
All right. I'm glad we ferreted that out.
Hmm.
Okay. So, okay. Yep. Goodbye.
Yes. And I'll see you guys next week, and or in chat maybe.
All
or
right,
in
Betty.
Discord. Or in Discord.
We promise we're going to be cordial.
Good. Well, because I will check up on you.
I know you will.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Okay.
Thanks. And to the audience, have a good evening or good day or good morning. Also be. And see you guys later.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye. $2:30. That's an hour and a half going. Where'd Brian go? Sometimes he has to go on Tuesdays for whatever reason he has to go. So, all righty then. Anything else?
He made some good points, man. Like points I really had no no answer for, man. And your argument is really, you can't really argue that, man, because there's no way to prove it ultimately. I give some evidence and all that, but as far as that's just what, personally what it could be, in my opinion, if it does exist. But yeah, there's no way to prove it, man. If we're being honest, that's the only true honest stance, is that we haven't proven it, and to this point we can't. But it's a fun discussion, man. It does draw a lot of attention, man.
Fun for who? For me, it is.
I mean, it does get kind of monotonous when we all agree on everything. It does get kind of monotonous. It's still better than it's different. It gets a little tense sometimes, but it's interesting. How about that? Maybe not fun. Fun is a bad word. It's an interesting topic.
So the non-existence of something is an interesting topic. What if I invoke non-manifested turkey squirrels? Would that be an interesting topic?
Not to me.
Yeah.
We all know that turkey squirrels exist, man.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
That's an inside joke from many years ago, and only 3 people know it. So none of the 2 others don't know it. All right, let's go ahead and wrap this up. So, like I said, tentatively speaking, Thursday for Betty's show. Maybe not at this point. No BALLBUSTERS on Saturday. Or get back to the regular scheduled programming. The Saturday. The Saturday. What is the Saturday after this Saturday? What's the date? Anyone know? I don't have a calendar close. That could be
the 28th, I think. Let me double check.
Is it the 27th? If it's the 27th, that's a no-go. I have a 3D tournament that day. So just stay tentative, folks. We will see you most assuredly next Tuesday. Lord willing.
Thanks for having me, Dewey. It's literally always a pleasure, brother. Thanks for having me and tolerating me. And yeah, it is the 27th, and we hope to see you then, brother.
Yeah, the 27th. That's not going to work. Thanks, Brian. Appreciate that. So listen, I hope you guys got a lot out of this. I know I did. Hang in there. Be careful of abject speculation, because you're going to get your ass handed to you. Catch you on the flip side. Out.